Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. We are at day 8 of the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo 2952. It is MISC day, so we've got a load of MISC ships, and yeah, we're going to be checking out the Expo hall, seeing what's available to rent, sort of talking about the ships a little bit, and then going on the RSO website and seeing what's available to purchase. I believe the only limited ship on sale today is the Hull E, so that's the giantest of the Hull series of ships. Absolutely massive beast of a ship. Still in concept, though. And we'll be talking about that in a bit. So, let's get out of this beauty shot and have a look to see what we have. So, we've got the Prospector to start with. It is a solo mining ship. It is where all that mining gameplay started. It is very much my recommended ship if you want to get into mining, rather than doing it by hand or doing it with the Rock or the Rock DS or Mole or pretty much any of the other mining ships. Get a Prospector as your foray into mining, because you can make a lot of profit. Now, yes, you can make some money from hand mining as sort of like a side hustle from your just normal day-to-day goings-on in Star Citizen if you're going around planets and moons. But I really like the Prospector. It's got a powerful mining laser at the front, which can be changed and customized, and there's loads of subcomponents and stuff for it as well, and consumables that you can also use for it. But yeah, single-person mining ship. Absolutely fantastic, really useful. We've got the Hull A over here, the smallest of the Hull series. It is a dedicated hauler that can take a small amount of cargo on its spindles. It sort of expands out to have these like spindles that cargo can be attached to. It's really seen as like a starter. It is hovering. Ooh, exciting. It's not supposed to be hovering like that, I promise you. So it's very much a starter sort of hauler ship, in my opinion, although it is a dedicated hauler within that sort of bracket. And then left and right here, we have two Starfarers. So on the left, we've got the military version of the Starfarer, the Gemini. In fact, I forgot what it was called briefly. And on the right, we've got the standard MISC Starfarer. So the Starfarer at the moment can be used to refuel ships in space, so people can literally come and dock with it, and then there's a bit of a mini game slash interaction where you can choose to charge a certain amount for your petrol, your gas, your fuel, and then pump it over to the other ship which is docked with you. Sort of like they do a little dock and all that sort of stuff. Now in the future, it's expected that this little grill at the front, I believe, will allow you to harvest gas and some form of fuel harvesting. That's sort of partly what the ship is supposed to do. And on the military version, well, it's more armoured and armed, more armoured at the very least. And instead of the sort of gas collection thing at the front, it has missiles. Pew, pew, pew! So, what do you want? Do you want a refueling ship at all? And it's got loads of sort of tanks for fuel in the back, and I believe it can also refine fuel in the future too. So you've got carry liquids and that sort of jazz as well in its tanks, and you can choose what's in what tank, what type of fuel, effectively. But I think it's going to be pretty useful in the future, especially with systems like Pyro, and then when you're going out like exploring and doing deeper sort of flying around like star systems, like in the like the deep recesses of space, then you might run out of fuel, and they're going to want one of these to come and rescue you. That's the idea. Big old ships, really pretty cool inside as well. Right, let's go check out these other halls. Just realised I hadn't actually looked at a map to see what's available this time, so we're going down in the downstairs to the Hollow Suite in a minute. I'm going to do this hall now to the right, and then hall number 5 on the opposite side. It's annoying that it's not just next to me. Right, what have we got? So we've got the Reliance in here. So the full set of Reliance. Now, I'm not a massive fan of the Reliance. They are seen as second-tier starter ships, whatever that means. But you've got, like... The idea is they're kind of B-wing sort of ships, if you like Star Wars. So though they look flat here, they can actually orientate themselves to be horizontal rather than vertical, vertical rather than horizontal. So I don't know what all the paint schemes denote. Is this the Tanner or is this the Sen? It's the Mako. I have a Mako. It's the only one I actually have. So the Mako is the news van variant. Basically, it's got scanners, sensors, and cameras, so that it can report live at the scenes, and somehow that's going to make money or be good for something. I'm really looking forward to seeing what mechanics they've got for it. It's probably the mechanics that's talked about the least at the moment in Star Citizen is how the news van will work. I can read you the blurb very quickly. The Empire depends on up-to-the-second information, which is why reporters need to be able to go where the news is happening, wherever, whenever, enter the Mako. All the flexibility and dependability of a MISC Reliant combined with state-of-the-art Kernan camera packages to capture every moment as it happens with the clarity and accuracy that makes the headlines. Ooh, exciting. But very little function currently beyond just the normal standard Reliant. So you've got the Tanner, which is the combat variant. Basically, it's got a weapon on both ends. Is the idea there. And then I'm assuming this is the Sen, because it's got like scannery doodads going on here. So we've got the research variant, basically, which is the Sen. So sort of entry-level science gameplay, maybe a bit of exploration, and then you just got the standard Tanner. I mean, they're cool little ships. They've got some quirks to them. They've got a little tiny bit of cargo and all that sort of jazz. They're sort of supposed to be high tech. So sort of come into the back. You can put some cargo down. If you like the idea of them, then grab one. I really like the idea of these component showcases and sort of weapon showcases, but what I want is for each of the components to be have a little sign by them, or examples of how they're used and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Just some extra detail. Also, I'd quite like the components to be free to rent as well during the IAE. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? I suppose they're an Expo that are trying to sell stuff too. So it looks like we've got freelancers in this talk. I can see the sign as I'm going in, and it is just freelancers. Okay. So we've got the standard Freelancer. So Freelancer, sort of direct competitors realistically to the sort of Cutlass Black, that sort of stuff. Although they are a bit more high-tech, is the idea. There are more frills to them. They've got like better weaponry and more cargo sometimes, things like that. So sort of hybrid, the standard one, hybrid, cargo, combat, mission-running ship. And if you don't like the Cutlass Black or the Cutlass series and you want something that does something very similar and maybe a bit of a higher tier of that, then the Freelancer is probably for you. We've got the exploration version, which I can't remember what it's called, but fortunately it's clearly marked. The Durr. I do remember now because I read it. An interesting colour scheme of orange and blue. So basically the Durr is the longer range Explorer variant, so better gear for exploration, more fuel tanks, that sort of stuff, if you are so interested. Then we've got the Max. If you're going to grab yourself a Freelancer, then I would probably grab a Freelancer Max. And that's because it's bigger. It's got a load more cargo room. And I believe it's got some like extra added hard points and stuff. Like, does it have just bigger... But it's got a load more cargo at the very least. So I always remember... I remember researching Star Citizen when I first started sort of looking into some of the ships for content. And I was like, oh, the Freelancer Max, that's exciting because it's got a huge amount more cargo. Freelancer variant with additional cargo capacity at the expense of weapons. The Freelancer Max variant sacrifices weaponry for an increased cargo capacity, making it ideal for equipment or raw materials transport. Basically said the same thing twice there. I vaguely remember it's got bigger engines. They look much bigger, right? Much wider. Obviously a lot of stuff has to be balanced, and when we have the cargo factor and then physical components and then a proper dynamic economy and stuff, some of these ships will really come into their own. And then we've got the MISC Freelancer MISC, I believe. So this is sort of like the missile combat variant of the ship. And I believe it's got like, it's supposed to have a missile autoloader, which sort of puts missiles from the cargo bay onto the wings. That's eventually what it will have, question mark. I like the idea of some of these ships being more combat-orientated. A Freelancer MISC is a limited edition militarized variant of the classic mercantile ship developed by the UAE. These were produced in very small quantity due to some early payload incidents. This version sacrifices the majority of the cargo capacity to make way for missiles. More missiles! So what have we got downstairs? Oh, so we've got the Razors. So these are interesting. So we've got the sort of Razors, got the racing, almost like the normal variant of the Razor. And then we've got the LX and the EX. So the EX is the stealth variant. Literally, it's going to be used, I think, even by the military or sort of like police and stuff for eavesdropping and sort of tracking people. Sort of like a stealthy little hidey, quick and nippy vehicle. And then you've got the LX, which I believe is like the drag racer, go faster in straight line variant. So these are going to be really cool for the racing updates coming in Alpha 3.18 and those new race courses that are literally part of the persistent universe. Very cool stuff there. Oh. Yeah, I think I like the look, at the very least, of the Razors. So I've realised that there's a lot of MISC ships, like the Freelancers and the Reliance and stuff, I don't really like, or I like ships from other ranges a lot more. It's not that I don't like them, I think they look cool or whatever, but they're not for me. I could rather go for a Cutlass Black or a Spirit C1 sort of thing. What have we got here? Is this the Endeavour? Oh, hello. Yeah, so the Endeavour, an interesting ship in the fact that it's quite old now in concept. It's very big as well. Let's see if we can get the camera on it. So the idea is that the front detaches and the rear can have a load of different modularity. And Cloud Imperium have been starting to talk about modularity again recently, which is absolutely fantastic to hear. So it's very science-orientated as a ship. But yeah, the front can go off and explore and do lots of other stuff. The rear section can be left in space or on the ground or whatever, and basically be a floating laboratory or a hospital or a load of other things. There's modules for sort of like farming, for science, for research, for exploration, anomaly sort of detection, for overclocking items, sort of improving their sort of stats, just a whole load of stuff. And you can sort of, and there's hangar modules and things, and you can sort of combine all these modules in different ways for lots of different functions. Really, really excited to see that in game. It's going to be a while. It is a massive ship with a huge amount of modularity, which is actually quite complex, and lots of it touches on science, exploration, and farming, and research, and that sort of stuff. So expect it to be looked at later, much later into the project. Probably 3 years plus sort of thing is what I'm thinking with the Endeavour, but we'll have to wait and see. What else have we got? What are you? Takes me a while to identify. Is this the... Oh, so this is the refinery one, which I can never remember the name of. The Expanse. It is the Expanse. Okay, so we've got the MISC Expanse. Again, in concept, as everything pretty much is in the holosuites. So this is a refining ship, allowing you to sort of collect saddlebags and refine them as part of the operation that you'd want to do with like prospectors or whatever, or moles and things like that. Going to be a very useful, functional ship. What else have we got? My camera skills are poor at best. So we have the what's this one? What are you? Oh, the Odyssey. Of course, it's the Odyssey. So the Odyssey. This is the ship that Jax McCleary stole last year, or took on sabbatical. So, MISC Expanse is a sort of sideways move for top-tier explorers. So, what do I mean by that? Well, you've got the Carrack. Carrack, fantastic for sort of like exploration and surveying and sort of mapping and all that sort of jazz. Pathfinding, all that sort of cool exploration stuff. The Expanse has some benefits of that. It's a little bit bigger, and it can sort of farm or harvest quantanium and make its own quantanium fuel. So its own quantum fuel, basically. And that means that it can stay out in the verse semi-permanently. So it's very self-sufficient. So if you want something that's deep space, long-range explorer that can potentially stay out forever, and it might not be as specialised in certain areas of exploration as the Carrack, but maybe that's not what you want. Maybe you want to be able to go long-term into space for a huge amount of time or never go back. Or we've got operating out of sectors which, well, actually I'm going to be away for weeks and weeks and weeks or something. Then the MISC Odyssey is for you. Couldn't say the words. And then we've got the beautiful, assumedly, Hull C? It's got 2 spindles. I think it's the Hull C. Yes, indeed. The Hull C is the first hull they came up with was the Hull C, which is supposed to be sort of like the mainstay cargo hauler and smuggler ship. And you can see all the spindles there when it's deployed and with all the cargo on. They are building larger cargo containers for ships like these as well. And these hull series can expand and contract, so it can actually contract, put those spindles down when there's no cargo on them, and be a much smaller ship for landing and servicing. But yeah, I think that is everything in the halls today. And what we'll do is we'll go and have a look on the RSI website to see what else is available.
So, with my cutter out of commission, I've stowed away in the extra-large hold of this MISC Freelancer Max. I should be through the Stanton jump point, and I've landed at a nearby rest stop. Ready? Freedom! No! No, 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 no. No. No, I mean, this cannot be happening to me! Hey, you, where are you, man?
We're in station.
You mean I'm still in Pyro? This rate, I'll miss next year's IAE.
So what is available today on the RSI website and at what prices? So, the Endeavour, it says push research to its absolute limits. The Endeavour, really cool science ship. Yeah, as I said, very modular. And you can see it here with the biodomes. I'm not sure if you can purchase... So if you click on it, you can then purchase the modules separately. So it can become quite an expensive ship. It's $350 normally. And then you can see here, they've got 20% tax on all the items here. You can buy like the master set for $1,000. Obviously quite an expensive ship. It is in concept, but it comes with one of each of the modules. And those modules are biodomes, the particle collider for overclocking, so biodomes for farming, crew pods for crew capacity, fuel pods for long distance and fuel storage, landing pod for having a hangar, med pod. So med pod starts to make it into this Endeavour hospital, and I think it's the med pod and landing sort of pod combined. You have this sort of like operational large hospital in space. You've got the research pod for, I believe, I think there's a research pod which allows you to crunch research data to make it either sellable or for missions or things like that. And they've got the science pod which allows you to do things like making compounds and drugs and things, I believe. You've got the telescope, which is for sort of detecting and looking at anomalies and things like that, and maybe being able to visit them afterwards. I've got loads of these very expensive packs available. So you've got the MISC Complete pack, you've got the Praetorian pack, the Dominus pack, for like huge ranges of ships, and the MISC Endeavour if you are concierge. So if you spent $1,000 in your account, you have access to purchase those. You mad people. So what else have we got? So that's cool. Concept ship. Well, as I said, it's going to be a long time before it's in game. MISC Expanse, $150 for that refinery ship. I think a lot of people are going to really want that in their mining operations. I don't think that's an awful price for it, but it is going to be one I get in game once it's actually available in game to use. Then we've got the Freelancers, $110, sort of priced at the same range as the sort of Cutlass Blacks and Spirit series, all that sort of stuff. Very good multi-role, sort of 1 to 3 person crew sort of ship. And then you've got the Durr, which is the more scanny and exploration variant, $135. It is a ship that I would recommend to a lot of people that want to do exploration as their main thing in game, but don't want to commit to a larger ship. We've got the Max, which I believe has bigger engines and a huge amount more cargo space, $150 for that. They've got the Freelancer MISC, $175, approaching pretty expensive for what basically goes, well, it can actually just shoot a load more missiles, but if you want a combat variant of that particular size, then maybe it's for you. Got the Hull A, $90. I think it's pretty expensive for what is a sort of quite small cargo vessel, and you might want to grab something else instead, but all this stuff you'll be able to get in-game if you can't already. Hull A you can obviously get in-game already. Hull B, larger version of the Hull A. Quite a bit more cargo there from $140, but that's in concept. Hull C, very close to release. $350, very expensive. Because obviously it's starting to carry a huge amount of cargo, and the Hull series can expand and contract their spindles and put loads of cargo on them. Hull D, starting to get into this massive tier of cargo hauling. $450 though, it's obviously hugely priced. And then there's the Hull E. So that's $750, but it is a Titan. It is so huge, and it is limited stock today as well. It appears... Okay, so it's already sold out at the current stock. You can try again at midnight and 8 a.m. UTC if you want to grab a Hull E. Got the Odyssey. That is the very high tier exploration ship that is more focused on staying out in the verse for a long time. It can mine its own quantanium. It's got a hangar. It's got all of the things that you would want in a exploration ship and a bit more. A lot of people are going to be using this as like their bases. I suspect a lot of these will be operating in star systems which have no other infrastructure because they can basically service themselves. Really cool ships, the Odyssey. Do not know how long it's going to be until it's in game. They are pretty big. And exploration, we're not sure how far exploration gameplay is away at the moment. Got the Prospector, that cool little mining ship that is very much in game, and mining is one of, if not the most refined gameplay loop at the moment, and even has refining sort of tacked on there, which is working pretty well, or at least is working. So $155 for the Prospector. There is a special offer for it at the moment, so was it CCU upgrade? And that will be a bit cheaper than the normal. So it's $10 off if you CCU upgraded as well, with the War Bond upgrade, in fact. There's some cool skins as well. So a lot of these ships at the moment, if you click on them, they will have some special skins available as well. Not a massive fan of getting skins in-game at the moment, because I want to be able to customize my ship more fully and paint it myself in the future. So purchasing skins at the moment doesn't really sort of interest me. So I don't have much interest in those skins. That is why. Got the Razors, $145 for the standard Razor. I say standard, it is a cool racing ship. And it's going to be probably the most generic of the Razors for that reason. And then you've got the stealthier version, the EX, and then you've got the dragster, the LX, $150 for the LX, and how much is the EX? $155. Do you know what? If I was going to buy one, I'd just go for the standard Razor. Got the Reliant series, Reliant Core, $65. Not too bad price-wise. If you love the way it looks, you can see sort of both orientations of it here, then yeah, maybe it's for you. It is a bit better than just the normal starters. It's starting to move into more specialized roles as well. The core, obviously more cargo orientated. And then $95 for the Mako. News van, reporting as something you do in the verse. Obviously, you could just do that on YouTube or recording now. So there has to be some in-game function with these sort of news cameras and all that sort of stuff that you can make potentially money from in-game. Let's see where that goes. But obviously, it is $30 more, almost 50% more. So, an interesting one there. You got this Sen, which is the science version, $85. If you want to do a bit of exploration-y stuff, a bit of the sort of more potential light science gameplay. And then you've got the Tanner, which is the light fighter combat variant. And then we've got the Starfarer, $300 if you want to do sort of refueling of ships, fuel refining, I believe, carrying large amounts of fuel. We also have the Gemini, which is the military version of that, more armoured. I believe the front part of it for the fuel scoop, basically, the gas scoop, is modular. You can switch that out, I think, but that's $340. And then we are back with the Endeavours. So we talked about it earlier. The Prospector's got the War Bond upgrade today, so you might be able to get you might be able to upgrade your ship a bit cheaper to a Prospector if you want one. Yeah, that's it for today. Tomorrow we have RSI, and with RSI we've got some special stuff because they have the RSI Galaxy, which is going to go on concept sale, which has now been revealed. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's the last main day of manufacturers at the Expo, and then it's sort of best in show, where they'll show off the best in show skins for the winners of the ship showdown, and you'll be able to rent any ship you want from the Expo hall from a terminal until the 30th. Yeah, bear that in mind. Make sure you check out the Expo hall. There will be some Warbond CCUs as well appearing, I think from the 27th onwards, some new ones, so bear that in mind. And yeah, Star Citizen's free until the 30th as well, so enjoy it, play it, tell me what you think of it, and get involved with the Robot Space Industries Galaxy sale tomorrow and tell me what you think of that as well. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope you had a great time at the IAE today. Tell me what you think in the comments below.
Hello, I'm Winston Churchill, and I use NordVPN to defend the Internet Empire. We will fight the ants on the beaches. We shall fight on the Internet. We shall fight the trackers and the malware. Whether we want to watch Netflix from another country or have greater accessibility to the Internet, we will defend our island home. At any rate, that is what we're programmed to do.
Thanks, Winston Churchill. What? What do you mean, Tin? That wasn't Winston Churchill? Point still stands. Go to nordvpn.com/BoredGamer to get yourself discounted NordVPN, or use the links below. Every month we have a ship giveaway. For November, we're giving away a Crusader Spirit C1. It's a fantastic looking multi-role ship that can fit a vehicle in the back or a load of cargo, and it looks really cool. It's got loads of forward-facing weaponry and a tractor beam. As it's a concept ship, though, the winner will have a Cutlass back in the meantime as a loaner. It comes with access to the game and lifetime insurance too, so bam! Even if you don't have Star Citizen stuff yet, you can get straight into the game with this. It's all you need. Just comment on any of my videos this month to be in for a chance of winning. A massive thank you to everyone that has used the join button under my videos to become a channel member, and my Patreons. You guys are awesome. It really does help the channel. Please consider becoming one of those lovely people too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the verse.